Hello everybody, and it's time for another video by Skystar, and today I'm going to be talking about StormClan's Folly while I play Alto's Adventure, because to be honest, I didn't know what else to put as a background. And I'm not really the type to work on like a bunch of fancy backgrounds or anything while I'm making videos, and that's just not me, so I'm sure you guys wouldn't care to watch some gameplay while I talk, but anyways, getting into it, StormClan's Folly. This will include spoilers, so if you haven't read StormClan's Folly, I wouldn't advise you to go further in this video, because I will be talking about it in all of its length, and I will be revealing the plot. And also spoilers for Ivy Pool's Heart as well. If you haven't read that, I would suggest that you click this video off now. So, originally when I read StormClan's Folly for the first time, or rather, like when I knew that StormClan's Folly was going to be coming out, I was pretty excited because I didn't know what it was going to be about, and to be honest, I had read about StormClan's Folly in Ivy Pool's Heart, which if you've read that, you know that StormClan is first mentioned in that book for the first time, which is when Ivy Pool and her questing cats meet the wildcats, and they find out about Star from visiting the tree and whatever. So that was the first time that StormClan was mentioned, and I was pretty intrigued after StormClan was brought up in that book, and I definitely did want to know more about it, because I mean, obviously it's a fresh new topic, and that's always exciting in reading cat books. So with that in mind, I went into StormClan's Folly with an open mind, because, you know, there's been talk about how some of the new Warrior Cats books aren't always the best, and that they kind of are sloppily written and all that. And while I could definitely agree with certain series, Broken Code, cough cough, I wanted to believe that StormClan's Folly wouldn't be that bad, and it wasn't. It was actually really good. However, there was some things that I didn't like about it, but I'll get into that eventually. So the story starts out obviously in the setting with Star and Stripe Star being young cats and apprentices, and they meet for the first time at a gathering and they start talking. But part of the weird thing about that is the fact that suddenly in the next chapter they're just magically leaders of the clans and adults, and the writer starts out with seasons later, and it just kind of struck me as odd because they didn't put any effort into writing out like their younger lives, or how, you know, Stripe Star and Gale Star became together, and they tried to join the Underclan and WingClan, and I mean, that was a pretty exciting concept, I'm not gonna lie, but it could have been done a lot better, in my opinion. Like, for starters, you know, writing out their younger lives, not just suddenly jumping into chapter 2 with them both being adults and, you know, meeting each other in secret and all of that stuff, or allying their clans, and it's quite odd, to be honest. And while I don't think that the book was bad by any means, that definitely did lose some points for me, because I like reading about how the cats, you know, become their own cats, like with their own personalities and all of that. And it felt like we just didn't get that with StormClan's Folly. I also think that, and apparently the writer for this book was Conrad Mason, which is one of the newest writers for Warrior Cats. And I'm not hating on him, because I know he's a pretty successful author in his own right, and has written many books, but I do think that he needs to kind of learn about cat, you know, behavior a little bit more. Because, and this could just be a nitpick, but I wasn't the only one that said this. I saw a lot of comments about this as well. Cats definitely do not howl, and they don't, you know, like points and all of that stuff, like, they were kind of made to be more human-like in this book, and I really didn't like that. It didn't feel like it was authentic warrior cats. And is that a little nitpicky? It could be. That could just be my opinion, but I just thought that was kind of, wrong in itself, and I didn't really like that. I do, however, I think, I understand that he's a new writer and that maybe he just doesn't know about cat behavior yet, but I think he definitely needs to learn about it before he writes anymore. And that could, like I said, that could just be my opinion. But overall, the rest of it, going on from that point, I did like how, they traveled together and they're trying to find StormClan a home after they combine it. But the fact that they have Galestar kill Striped Star's mate, and he just magically forgives her for that, it seems, and just immediately starts falling in love with her afterwards. And then they ally their clans, that doesn't seem like behavior that you would do after this cat just literally killed your partner. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems quite odd. And aside from that, it felt a little bit off-putting that Galestar's deputy is her former mate, and that she still likes/loves, possibly. I don't know, but the whole thing just felt a little bit weird about how he immediately accepts, Galestar and Stripes are being a thing, like they just connected their clans together like it was no big deal, and he just accepts that. Like, I don't know how, I'm probably not describing myself accurately here, but I just felt that was a little bit weird. But, the part where they're traveling, they meet the mountain cats. The fact that Striped Star just leaves without Galestar with the storm, I mean, that could just be another nitpick of mine, but it doesn't feel like a whole lot of effort was put into it, and I probably can make sense here. I'm trying to make sense. I've only read it once, so maybe my opinion is not what it should be, but anyways, moving on from that point, when Galestar joins the Wildcats, it's pretty obvious that Stalker likes her from the beginning. I believe that's his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's pretty obvious that he likes her from the beginning and wants to be mates with her, and I feel that's just kind of weird. She just lost her mate, or she thinks she does, and her kids survived, yes, but she just lost the love of her life that she left everything behind for, and now suddenly she's starting to be mates with another cat, especially one that isn't even of her same species. I don't know, the way they wrote it just felt kind of weird. But I did enjoy, getting to know the backstory of StormClan, and I know I haven't, given a whole lot of plot details. It's because I'm trying not to totally spoil it, but it's also because a lot of this book is just traveling. I know some people complain about traveling books. I'm not the biggest fan of them either, but I did think this one was quite interesting, mostly because it did the backstory of StormClan, which was definitely something needed. But just some parts of it feel like it could have been better. And look, this is just another nitpick of mine possibly, and I could get flamed for this, but hopefully I'm not the only one that sees it to be kind of weird how they just stick two male cats together as mates with no prior backstory or anything. Because let's take a look back in the series, right? At least with Tallstar and Jake, who did frequently ship together. There was backstory behind them. They had a plot behind them. They did things together. They didn't just show up out of the blue. And with Ravenpaw and Barley, you know, they lived their whole lives together in the farm together, and they grew their relationship, and that was wonderful. But to just stick two cats together, it just felt kind of odd. And I'm not saying that I'm against that, and you know, the series, it could be perfect. I don't know. I would love to see another same-sex relationship in one of the cats, but with that being said, this one just felt a little bit like just added just to be, you know, just to be existing. Not really to exist as like a full-on story. They didn't give any backstory to the two characters. And as I said, this is just my nitpicking. It could be, you know, take it out as you will. I'm not against it. I just didn't like how it was written, in my personal opinion. So, take it out as you will. I did like how the Wildcats accepted Galestar, though. It was quite a cool dynamic to see, and it made complete sense with how Galestar was able to speak to Ivy Pool and everyone else in Ivy Pool's heart. And, you know, be reunited with Stripestar and StormClan. And that StormClan was able to be, you know, present with StormClan again after Ivy Pool and her questing cats found the Wildcats and stuff. Felt like that wrong was put right, I think is what they say in the books, but keep in mind this is all just my opinion. You know, if it's your favorite book, that's wonderful. If you hated it, that's also your opinion. I just prefer, you know, to speak my mind about things, and this is just my personal opinions on this book. And I know I'm not like the best at talking or articulating my thoughts, but I tried. And overall, did I hate it? Absolutely not. I think it was a wonderful book. I loved it. It's actually one of my favorites, because I love the idea of StormClan, and I love getting a background on StormClan, but I just hope that in the future that the books that this guy writes, and I heard that he's writing Super Edition 20, whatever that ends up being, I hope that he doesn't do the same thing with the cats, you know, like have them act like humans almost, or other animals, and kind of gets a little crash course on cat behavior, and that he doesn't just get lazy with it until seasons later, you know. But other than that, I think it was truly a good book, and I did enjoy it. So overall, with StormClan's Folly, I would give it like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 for the reasons that I stated, but overall I did like it, and I did think that it was pretty good, so I would give it like a decent rating of 8 out of 10. And that's just my opinion. Like I said, you guys can always have your own opinions. Let me know what you thought of it. And maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't, but I just like certain things. The certain things that I did like was, as I said, it was quite interesting to get a background on StormClan, and I also really like Galestar as a character. And I also liked Stripestar as a character. However, another point that I want to add before I end is I really did not like how they seemed to make Thunderstar the bad guy in the StormClan scene when ThunderClan and WindClan restart and he appoints a new leader of ThunderClan. You know, I get it, he's mad that his clan was destroyed because of their actions. But I feel like they completely changed his personality in this book, and that was just a nitpick of mine. It was just what I personally thought. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below, and did you like it? Did you think, you know, that it was boring? let me know what your thoughts are below, and I will see you guys next time in another one of my talks about this series. And as always, see you later and have a great night.